The number one question I get asked is, when are you having another baby? And the answer is, I'm not. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Just kidding. So I wanted to make this video for a couple reasons. To finally just come out and answer that question. Now, I'm not saying it's never gonna happen, because never say never, but as of now, my husband and I have made the decision to be one and done. He's been talking about getting a vasectomy. For right now, I'm on birth control, and that's that. The second reason I wanted to make this video is to normalize the decision to only have one child. Aside from the more unique or serious reasons people decide this, like maybe medical complications, it's dangerous for the person to have another baby, maybe you tried for years and years and then finally had your baby. And then people are like, I get why you don't want to have any more, congrats. Outside of circumstances like that people don't feel the need to question or push back on, I've gotten quite a bit of pushback. When we first had our daughter, who just recently turned 3, and friends and family would ask, when do you think you're gonna have a second baby? And we first started putting it out there, the idea that we might not. I think a couple, but not many, responded positively or in an encouraging way. I was told things like, only children grow up to be spoiled a-holes. They're odd, they're not as well-rounded, they're gonna be really lonely, they're not gonna have as good childhood memories, all the way to, what if they die? I mean, how morbid, and what a terrible reason to have a second child, just to have a backup in case the first one dies. Oh, and then on the flip side, what if you both tragically die? Then they're on their own in this world. Or as you guys get older and can't take care of yourselves anymore, they're gonna be stuck with all that responsibility. It was especially annoying because I never asked for any of those opinions I got. Also, because we were already leaning towards only having our one child, all the reasons we heard not to felt a lot like guilting us. Listen, it's our decision, and it's the right one for us. Just like any decision that anyone else makes for their life and their family is theirs to make. Period. And here are the reasons why we came to this decision. In case you're curious, in case you've been thinking similar things. First of all, it has been really hard on our marriage. And I used to feel bad about that, even though we live in a time where it's more normal, if not celebrated, to be real, raw, transparent. All over social media, I've seen people sharing their true postpartum bodies and stretch marks, the unglamorous photos of nursing in your sweatpants when you haven't washed your hair in 6 days, the freedom to be able to say, I love being a mom at the same time I hate being a mom. There's been a shift, and there's no longer this immense pressure to always have a smile on your face and act like your house is always clean and you have everything under control. There's been so much beautiful connection and uplifting of one another as we're figuring out parenthood and motherhood and how hard it can be. And yet I still felt ashamed about how hard it was on our marriage. We had it tough in the sleep department. If you watched my vlogs when she was a baby, then you know she's just been a bad sleeper. We've done all the things, tried all the things, read all the things. Our pediatrician told us, unfortunately, she's just one of those babies who needs less sleep on the spectrum of what's a normal amount for the stage she's in. She's on the lesser end. And then combine that with my husband and I both being the type of people who need 7 to 8 hours of decent sleep to feel decent. When we don't get enough sleep, we're like melting down emotionally and physically run down. It sounds dramatic. It is a little bit. I mean, sleep is important. We all need it to live, but there are people who can just get less and be fine. We are not those people. And our daughter didn't start sleeping through the night until she was over 2 years old. So for over 2 years, we didn't get really good sleep. And I think part of it has to do with our upbringings as well. I don't want to get too psychological, but both of us coming from not stable homes were just not wired as strong as some people in certain areas. Broken homes produce broken people who can't always handle challenges well. So while sleep deprivation is hard on most, it was particularly hard for us. And I had some people say, well, it doesn't last forever. You should have more kids and just get through this phase all at once. And once you're through it, it'll be short in comparison to the rest of their lives. Yeah, but if our home is in turmoil and I come out of this phase absolutely hating my husband, or our marriage doesn't make it, then what's the point of trying to create this family if it's miserable? Our relationship has to be a priority even before before kids. Yeah, it may take a backseat for a little bit during the newborn phase, the early days, but at some point it has to go back to being a main focus. Raising children in an environment where you and your spouse are constantly upset, at odds, that's a recipe for a broken home. And the kids grow up, become adults, live their own life. And when they're gone and it's just you and your partner again, my hope is that we still know each other, like each other. So while it may sound selfish to some, the whole having a baby was hard on us, it was though. And I no longer feel bad about that because it's the truth. And to me, having more kids was not worth losing my marriage over. Second reason, we started a little bit later in life. I was 29 when our daughter was born. I turned 30 just a couple months after. My husband was already in his mid-30s. He's often said if he was in his 20s, had less responsibility at work, was less set in his ways, he would have definitely had more. And I know some people choose to wait until they're in their 30s, a little bit older. That's how it worked out for us, but I don't think it was first choice. This is a second marriage for both of us, so we started over a little bit later. And lastly, and this kind of ties into the first reason, I don't know how to say this better, but I don't think we were set up to be good at this. Both of us had really dysfunctional childhoods in different ways. If you watched my video where I share about mine, I was abused. My husband comes from a lot of addiction and stuff like that. So when we talked about starting a family, we of course wanted to break the cycles we came from, but then also do more than that. You know, not just settle for, well, you're not addicted to anything and I'm not hitting our child, so we're good. She has a better life than we ever had. No, let's raise the bar. We want her to have fun and happy experiences, a good education, social skills, and not only intelligence, but emotional intelligence. How to love herself and others well, to be caring and compassionate, and to thrive, not just survive. And all of that, plus some, takes a lot of work, especially when it's not necessarily in our natures. We weren't taught or around all of those things. As kids, we were trying to survive. And it feels sometimes, at least for me, like I fought and clawed my way to get here. I have a good life now, a good husband, daughter, but it's like baseline health. I'm not continuing bad habits, bad behavior. I've unlearned a lot of the wrong things I was taught, broke the cycle. But I still have baggage, and all those things I want to teach my daughter, some of them I'm still learning myself. And my point is, I want to do my very best and give all I got to my one child. And I don't mean that in a negative or sad way. I was adopted, so I never knew or had a relationship with my biological mother. And my adoptive mother was abusive. So as a result of that, needing to protect myself, she never really knew me and we never really had a close relationship. The fact that now I'm a mother and I have a beautiful, healthy, brilliant daughter who I can be close with, have a safe and healthy bond with, cultivate a loving, wonderful relationship with, I'm so lucky and I'm perfectly happy and content to have her only. So there are my reasons. And I just want to say, if none of those reasons are your reasons for deciding to only have one kid, who cares? That's okay. The main point I want to make in this video is whatever your reason, it's yours and no one should make you feel bad about it. I don't anymore. I feel content and I hope you do too. Thanks so much for watching. It feels good to finally put this out there. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.